Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, the founder of Peer Guidance. This is a live show. If you have any questions, ask away. We're here for authentic conversations. We're excited about it. It is in Ventures. I'll be heading down there a little later today. So if you see me there, come say hi. Let's have a little chin wag. I also want to give a little shout out to our collectively tangled event on June 19th, which is geared towards mental wellness, mental health, and entrepreneurship. We have a small group. We get together, we talk, we open up. You've got ourselves there. You've got Sarah, Kira, again, psychologists and social workers that are there to help, because it's a journey that you don't need to take alone. And it's something that's important to feel that you have somebody to talk to. And speaking about somebody to talk to, this is long overdue. Jason with CleanO2, how are you today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah.
Just pretty good. It's a great Wednesday. It's Adventures. There's going to be networking going on all downtown for the next couple days.
Moving and shaking. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my second cup of coffee to kick in yet. So I'm ramping up.
Well, that's a good thing. Ramping up is a good thing. Got to be ramped. So,
you bet.
I mean, I was lucky enough to see your company come through Startup TNT, and then unfortunately for us, you got somebody to fill you around, which is unbelievably great for you guys. And as I said, it didn't work out for us. But again, anytime that somebody gets an investment into their startup and their company here, I am so happy for it. So I want to know, how did you get the inspiration, or what was the vision behind CleanO2?
Well, I'm a Red Seal plumber and gas fitter. I started my apprenticeship in the 1990s. I did new home installations for a couple of years in the 90s, and then I realized I didn't like it, and then I left for a bit and went and worked in the oil patch up in Fort McMurray, and then where I met my wife, and then we moved back down to Edmonton, and then to Calgary, and then I got back into plumbing. And I started working in the commercial heating industry in 2005, and really loved it. There was a huge amount of challenges in that space. There was a lot of opportunities for innovation, and then during that time, there was some discussions that were going on around carbon emissions, and it just made a lot of sense to me that we shouldn't be treating our atmosphere as a giant dumping ground, regardless of your stance on climate change. So I thought, well, maybe there's a way, or there's an opportunity where we can innovate in this space, because 70% of the market share for heating appliances in Canada belong to natural gas fired appliances, and every time you use natural gas, you're producing greenhouse gases and dumping it into the atmosphere. So I thought, okay, well, maybe there's a way to innovate, to create a solution that makes sense economically for customers to help reduce their emissions. So, after many iterations and trials and failures, and surrounding myself with some just amazingly talented people, we became the first company to commercialize microscale carbon capture systems in 2017. And to date, now we're operating in 3 countries and looking to expand beyond that both this year and into the future.
So let's expand on, I want to just touch base on that vision a little more. Was it like, I know you said that you just didn't want to use our atmosphere as a dumping ground, regardless of what your thoughts are on climate change. Was it one of those things that you just said, you're in a building and you're just kind of like, holy God, like can this be done? Or were you just having a conversation with somebody? Because I always find the story so interesting where you get that, that vision or that aha moment to start a company.
So originally it wasn't, I didn't intend to start a business. It was more just a case of, I love solving problems. I love trying to, roll up my sleeves and see if I can help in some form or fashion. And I had spent a tremendous amount of time in mechanical rooms working on gas fired appliances. And, I probably spent the first 2 years largely just playing with chemicals and playing with plumbing fittings and playing with gases and trying to just understand and educate myself with how I could help. I remember in a few instances I'd go to like a conference for for carbon capture. It was largely attended by, university professors and industry leaders. And then there's this plumber that just shows up, and people would be asking, like, what the heck are you doing here? The bathroom is over there. You shouldn't be. Why are you here? And I'm trying to learn more, because it impacts my career, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with this problem that we're all trying to solve. And initially I don't think I was taken very seriously, which, whatever, I'm here, so that's what matters. And it just became this rabbit hole where every time I came up with a problem or I needed an answer that I couldn't find, I just went out and found somebody that could provide those answers, and then we just made them part of the story and part of the journey. And it was probably an exercise more in just collecting people than it was in solving problems, because there was a pretty serious knowledge gap from my end. I'm not a chemist. I know enough to get myself in trouble. Same with engineering. I'm not an engineer, but I know enough to get myself into trouble. So every time I'd get into that position, I'd be like, oh, who do I know, or how can I go find somebody that can help solve this problem? And then it's not so much just a case of asking them to help solve this problem with me. It's like, why don't we solve this together? Why don't you be part of this solution, and let's go together. Let's go see where this goes together. And that's worked very well for us, because as I said, CleanO2's gathered some amazing talent here to help solve these problems.
Oh, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I love it. You can probably imagine how many times I hear, oh, like, I was thinking of this and I had no intentions of turning it into a company. And again, that's something, again, that entrepreneurial spirit, it's that problem solving. It's that, I mean, I envy people like yourself that can come up with an idea and are handy enough, because I am the world's most unhandy person in the entire world. It takes me an hour, if not 2 hours, to change a doorknob. So, I mean, it's a knob trying to change a knob type of idea. So it's very hard for me.
You probably make up for it in other ways. You probably have I'm sure you have many other talents that have allowed you to get to where you are in life.
Well, I hope so, right? That's what I keep telling myself, and I do. And there's definitely the handyman side isn't there for me.
You can't be everything.
Exactly. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the process before we get to the products that you make and where we can get them. So, once you started, going down this rabbit hole of trying to solve this problem, when did you come to think that, okay, I can make something that has a full circular, a circular economy, a circular type thing that can really make a difference? And then at what point did you find out that you can use this product, or the leftovers, if that's the right term, you'll correct me, that can make products?
Well, CleanO2 really is a lesson in happy accidents. We didn't intend to make a business, didn't intend to make soap. There's a lot of things we didn't intend that we've just sort of, I guess the proper word is pivot into. Pivot's a very popular word in this space. Originally, the business model was saying, okay, well, look, I know that a natural gas fired appliance is going to be producing GHGs. I know that I can convert those GHGs into a commodity, and then I should be able to sell that commodity to whoever is currently using that commodity. But what I didn't take into account was the volume. Like, if I'm talking to a company like, say, Nutrien, which is a giant agricom business, and they buy potassium carbonate by the rail car, and I show up with a pail, I'm not going to be taken seriously. So that's a problem, because as you scale, you need to be able to find ways to make money. And if it's not your initial plan to sell to these companies that are buying it because you're not making enough, well, then you have to pivot and find another route. So we were sort of thinking about, okay, well, one of the issues that we have with carbon capture, and still I think largely have issues with carbon capture, is that tangible narrative. If we want to have discussions around what does carbon capture mean, it can be challenging for the general public to understand how that relates to them. So we thought, okay, well, we know that this potassium carbonate that we're producing can be used in multiple industries. Why don't we pick one of those things that seems to be the most tangible, the most easiest to achieve, and use that as a marketing tool? So we said, okay, well, we know the potassium carbonate is used in soap. Well, everybody uses soap. Well, let's make just a few small batches of it and use it as a marketing tool. So my wife and I made a few batches in our house, and then we shared them with some of our industry partners that we had started working with, namely Atco Gas and FortisBC, and they loved it. And then we had more people that were interested in this idea of this tangible narrative by turning carbon emissions into soap, and it just kind of took off. And then it was kind of interesting because we went from making it in our kitchen to using a contract manufacturer in town. And the contract manufacturer basically said, look, the popularity is going to the point where I can't hit your volumes because all I'm doing is making your soap. So I have to limit how much soap I can give you. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. No. So through sheer serendipity, through LinkedIn, I ended up meeting Michelle Reilly, who had all the knowledge about, with making quality soap, amazing products. So we had a informal chat. I think we met at our office across town. It was like a little 1,800 square foot bay that we were at. And we said, look, I don't know how to make good soap. I know how to make soap, but I don't know how to make good soap, great soap. And so we just kind of collaborated, and she started making it. And then we grew the company from there and started selling all of these products. And now I think at scale here we've got a 12,000 square foot manufacturing facility here in Calgary. We can handle, I think, up to 30,000 units of soap per month. So it just kind of took on a life of its own, all simply because we had to pivot. So it was a very powerful lesson for us.
Well, that's amazing, right? And I mean, so people see, I mean, I got the soap here. I've got 4 bars. I've got 2 did it. I want to aft it. The girl, my wife and kids both girls wanted to try it. And I was like, no, you have to wait. I need the packaging so people know it's right in there. It's not.
We got lots more where that came from, by the way.
What's that?
We got lots more where that came from.
Oh, I'm sure you do. And we'll talk about where to get it. So once you made I want to talk. So now we've got that process. We got in there. You've got the soap. And I mean, this is where a lot of people, when they're going to do the B2C and get into that world, they talk about, okay, well now, how are we going to sell it? How are we going to get to the market? How are we going to find people? A lot of people try and put, like fancy things, I don't know, I'm just going to use Irish Spring as an example, and, fancy boxing. So I want to get to a little bit behind the marketing strategy behind this, because I love this, right? If I'm sitting there and on a grocery shop and there's a ton of them, and I'm going to probably grab this and like, captured by CleanO2, like, what is that? And then start reading. And then on the back, you've got the process. So I'm guessing, and again, we haven't discussed this before, I'm guessing that has probably something to do with your marketing and go-to-market strategy.
Yeah. So we had the good fortune of meeting with an investment firm called Regeneration.VC out of California. And they're kind of the who's who in terms of everything from government to consumer goods, very well connected. So we had a conversation with Dan Fishman, who was with Regeneration, and he connected us with a marketing firm out of San Francisco. And we sort of unpacked the concept of saying, look, we need to be able to engage people to want to understand what is carbon capture. Like, it's not just a bar of soap. There's more to it than just the fact that you're taking this awesome product home with you. You're helping support this initiative that we've started to help reduce emissions from natural gas fired heating appliances. And it just kind of morphed. And I'll say originally I was very skeptical over the marketing strategy, because I thought, well, I'm the guy that goes off of logos and imagery, and I'm the fancy guy for marketing, and I'm like, this is color and font, like I don't get it. But then I saw the finished product, and it made a lot of sense. So again, this is why I'm not a marketing guy, but you go and you find these people that are, and they end up creating these amazing products. So it took 6 months for us to go through this marketing strategy with them, and at the end of it, we ended up with these products. And then we started. At the time, we had some products on the shelf already. We were working with Canadian Tire, Safeway, Sobeys, with packaging that we had created. And then, this was a significant step up. So we went back to them and said, look, we want to pull the old stock off the shelf with the old packaging and put on this new branded material and help with some marketing efforts online and through other agencies. And it's been growing exponentially in terms of knowing who we are. Like you can't, we do a lot of local markets here in Calgary, and people know who the CleanO2 folks are and what the products are. So it's been an interesting journey to see, but it takes time. I think a lot of people have this mindset that it only takes one big hit, and then it's like this hockey stick occurs with it's like a 3-year overnight success kind of thing, and it really takes time. It takes strategy. It takes money. You have to be patient to get that market adoption. And we're still growing. We're still learning as we go. We're not established as other brands, but we're certainly hot on their tails.
I think that's such great advice on that, because number one, I mean, I've done a lot of marketing. I still do a lot of marketing. And sometimes when you have to educate somebody about a product, that takes a lot of dollars, a lot of time, as you said, to do it. So most people are scared to do something like this. Like this is like when I was online, and again, if anybody wants to go right now, you're watching this or watching this after the fact, CleanO2.ca, just click on the link in the comments section and head over there. You can buy it online. Again, Canadian Tire here, but it is something that it's so simple. That's like people try to overcomplicate things and try to make it different and try to do that. And so I think that, that's kind of a lesson here for a lot of people, saying sometimes you don't have to have the best packaging. You just, if you need to tell your story and you need to do it, you can actually change your package down the road. And that's something. So from you guys to go from the other way to this way, I think that's very intriguing to me. And it's good, obviously, that it worked. And let's talk a little bit about where you're selling it. So whereabouts are you located throughout? Take away the online that people can go to, click in this comment section. So let's talk about getting into Canadian Tire and some of the other retailers that you're in.
Sure. The first, I believe the first physical store that we got in was the Canadian Tire on McLeod Trail and Southland. I think that was the first one we get in. Corey was the manager there. Great guy, amazing guy, loves Alberta made products, loves to support local. So he was a huge godsend for us. Very wonderful human being. And it just kind of blew up from there. Then we managed to get in with Gary Hughes at Safeway Sobeys brand. So that was the next big hit. And then we started working with distributors who helped open up other doors that, we're a small group of people. So being able to move into physical locations across the country is a very challenging thing. So you really need to go through a distributed model. So we're now in, I think, in 93 locations across Canada. We're opening up retail opportunities in the U.S. Later this year with some major personal care products manufacturers and distributors in the U.S. Can't say who at this point, but it's so Amazon is another place you can buy. So we really sort of cast a really wide net, and again worked with very smart people who have done this many times. So rather than trying to reinvent the wheel and learn everything you can instantly, we've sort of taken the approach of saying, let's learn gradually and be supported by people who have done this before to get out there as quickly as we can to hit the market. And it's worked out very well for us.
No, that's good, right? I mean, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You do have to actually ask for help. And we talk about that all the time. You don't know what you don't know. I mean, we can go through, sayings, till the cows come home here.
Yeah.
But again, it's something that we talk about all the time. And sometimes it's not in Alberta or in Calgary where you need to get that help, right? You don't need to meet a Jade Alberts in Edmonton to get help. You need to meet somebody in the States that can really help you open up that market. Or if you need to go to Europe, you can go to the Trade Accelerator, talk to program, talk to Shona to open up doors that you need to do. So I think it's very important that your message was, is that, and I'm and thank you for sharing that, because it's something that we talk about all the time and try and stress. And, we have people in this ecosystem that will introduce you to those people around the world.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I think, one of the most underutilized service that this country has to offer is the Trade Commissioner service. They are a wonderful collective to work with. They understand the early stage companies, they understand the established companies, and they can do all sorts of wonderful things for you that don't cost you money. Your money's tight, especially as a small scale company. So I would encourage any of your listeners that are in this position to go introduce yourself to the Trade Commissioner Service and have a conversation with them about some of your goals if you're trying to export your products or ideas outside of Canadian borders. They're truly underutilized. I'm surprised that more people don't use their service.
Yeah, there's many great, that, and as I mentioned, through Calgary Economic Development and that, the Trade Accelerator Program,
Yeah.
they're there and they're free, right? It's not that you have to go out there and actually say, oh, I'm going to stroke you a check, because in our conversation before, we were talking about the importance of nickels and dimes at the beginning of your journey, and paying for a marketing agency too early is a waste of cash. And when you have access and you're ready to grow and you're ready to run and move into other markets, there are support systems here, and utilizing them is so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about your next journey here. So let's talk a little bit about short term. What's your short term goals? Let's say 6 months to a year, and then let's and if you want to talk about some of the other products that you have out there, again, anybody that wants to look at, they've got liquid soap, they've got hair products. Go to CleanO2.ca, just click on the link in the system. So maybe if you want to talk a little bit about some of the products that you have and your goals with them, and maybe your long-term 5-year goals, 10-year goals.
Sure. Well, starting with the tech side of things, so our current CarbonX unit that we're producing, version 3.4s, have indicated independently of about a 20 to 30% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. We've got a new version 4 that's coming out. We wanted to have it out this year, but we want to make, you only get the opportunity to make a first impression once. So we want to make sure that we get that version 4 completely dialed in, which has meant that production for version 4 has been pushed out to Q1 of next year. But that should get somewhere around a 50% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. It's a major step change for us, and so we're very excited, but we're cautious. We want to make sure we get it right. And then our long-term goal from a tech side of things is to get to 100%. We believe that we can do that while supporting existing energy infrastructures. In terms of products, yeah, we've got, as you said, we've got the body bars, we've got hair care products, which are completely lost on me. We've got a fertilizer that's coming out this year. We're doing a test site at a golf course here in town just to make sure it's a good fertilizer and not a herbicide. So far, all tickets are going well. We've got some great reporting coming in terms of the performance of the fertilizer. We've also got some other interesting products from like shave bars. We've got skincare products. We're looking at deodorants. So we're always looking at expanding the product line to encompass more of a lifestyle approach rather than just specific segments. So you can be in the garage, you can be in the garden, you can be in your house. We can be general purpose cleaners. We've got a laundry detergent that's just about to be launched here. But the goal is to continue creating these tangible narratives with these products so that we can engage people to not only buy a quality product, but to understand what carbon capture means. And we feel that these products are doing a service to the entire carbon capture markets in general, because it showcases the capacity to use carbon in many ways. It's not just storing it underground or turning it into biofuels or concrete. There's many things that we can do with carbon. And one of the things that I'd like to just touch base on really, really quickly, everybody who's ever gone to a big box retailer and bought a green product and brought that green product home and have it fail has probably set in their mind that all green products suck, right? We've all gone and bought the sustainable thing, and then we take it home and it's just horrible. So what that's ended up doing is that set the pace for your experience across the board that all green products suck. So we don't release products unless they perform. The quality has to be there, because it's not only a reflection of the product, it's not only a reflection of doing sustainable business, but it's also a reflection of the technology that captures carbon. So everything we do has to be amazing, or we just don't release it. Like, we've had a few instances of products where we've thought about releasing them. We've tried them out in small test groups and they didn't meet our expectations, so we didn't launch them. So it's really important for us to recognize that when we do something, it is of a quality and gives a solid, positive experience for all customers.
No, and that's and actually, based on that, we just had a question come in here. So I want to ask this question. And oh God, I lost it. But here, hold on a sec, because it came from Kevin, who I was just hanging out with in Saskatoon at Uniting the Prairies. So it was good. If I can't find it here, I'm gonna have to have you answer it after the fact.
All good.
Here it is. So I guess, based on that on that comment that you made, he wants to know, can potassium carbonate be used as an alternative to fossil fuels in plastic products?
Possibly. I know it's used in smart glass for both your smartphone and other HD type screens. It's a good question. I'm not sure, but I believe it really is we call it the Swiss Army knife of chemicals. So if it's not potassium carbonate, we can also produce sodium carbonate, magnesium carbonate, lithium carbonate. There's all sorts of different carbonates that we can produce. So, if we start saturating one market, we can move into other markets for other commodities. But I can't answer that question directly because I don't know for sure. I believe so, but I couldn't speak to anything specifically.
No, fair enough. I mean, it's good. We appreciate the question, and it kind of goes into hand in hand to kind of what you were just talking about, is most of us having that bad experience with something that was green or things like that, right? So
it just didn't work.
No, exactly. And I mean, I know it's never stopped us as a family, but again, we keep on doing it, and now the girls can use this soap. And I mean, I like my hair flowing in the wind, so I'm not a hair product guy, but it's I'm not going to be shaving anytime soon. So I know there's a couple I won't be using, but that laundry detergent is something that I'm intrigued in too. So I think that'll be something that'll be my next purchase from you guys.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. It's pretty cool. Reduced, eliminated packaging, or a large portion of the packaging, and the packaging we do have is all biodegradable. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get that out there.
Oh, I bet. So I'm always sad when our conversations are coming to an end, but I mean, you've shared so much with us. Thank you for that, Jason. And I have the last question that's always the same. And I thought, probably 20 in, I would be changing it, but I get such great advice and such different and a vast variety of opinions. So if you had one piece of advice for a startup or a entrepreneur, what would that be?
Be a little bit desperate.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to be desperate. Desperate is a marvelous motivator. Not too desperate. Too desperate, you make mistakes, but desperate enough that you're willing to take more chances than you normally would. That's what's driven me. Desperation is a marvelous thing. What's that? Tony Robbins, if you want to take the island, burn the boats.
Yeah. We just keep coming up with good analogies today.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I think and I can guarantee you, out of the almost 300 episodes, I have never heard anybody say be desperate. So again, it proves my opinion that, it's a valuable piece of advice. And again, I really appreciate you coming on today, sharing your story with us, sharing your knowledge with us, and the things that you did to grow your business. We really appreciate that. And thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Jade. I really enjoyed our conversation today, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me yammer about this stuff.
Oh, I could listen all day. We should, I always try and keep it, to half an hour, but I know I could take everyone to at least an hour. There's so much more we could probably cover. Maybe it's the next time when you go global, that could be our next conversation.
Sure. Heck of a plan. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, so thank you for joining, everybody. We'll probably see you at Adventures. And again, check out our mental wellness event for entrepreneurs, June 19th. Again, the link is in the comments section. And again, Jason, thank you so much for your time today. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Wednesday, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.